Is narcissism a mental illness? I believe it is, but I've heard people say that it isn't, so I'm kind of interested in this topic. According to the Mayo Clinic, mental illness refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, thinking, and behavior. Examples of mental illness include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Many people have mental health concerns from time to time, but a mental health concern becomes a mental illness when ongoing signs and symptoms cause frequent stress and affect your ability to function. A mental illness can make you miserable and can cause problems in your daily life, such as at school or work or in relationships. In most cases, symptoms can be managed with a combination of medications and talk therapy. Okay, so in terms of narcissism, it definitely seems to be an issue with the mind because they are unable to control it, like they are unable to stop it or treat it, and as of yet there's no medication to make it better, or it seems to be outside of the person's control. Like they can't just be like, oh, if I modify this behavior or if I do this differently, this will go away. Like it's like a lifetime sentence. Like once you have it, like you're going to have it for your entire life. It's just there, So your mind obviously controls all of your behaviors, and they just seem to have like zero control over this, like almost like they're stuck in a mental prison that they cannot get out of, they cannot change, they cannot do anything about. And it's like, but it seems to be, I think the confusion would be that it seems to be developed. Like it doesn't seem that you were born with it. I would think a mental illness would be born with, like schizophrenia or something, but you wouldn't be born with depression. So there's a lot of confusion in regards to it, because like depression could be brought on by environmental factors, like you're in a bad situation or you're in a toxic family, and so therefore you get depressed. But then when you're removed from the toxic situation, your symptoms seem to improve. So there's a lot of confusion in regards to it. And then they give eating disorders as an example of a mental illness. Well, you can get better from that. You can get better from an addiction. You can recover. So I don't know. But schizophrenia, I thought you would be born with that, or I don't know if that can develop over time as well. So, but narcissism seems to be a coping mechanism that you developed in regards to the abusive situation that you were dealing with when you were younger. So I don't think you were born with it, but then you can't reverse it either. Like, so once you develop this coping mechanism and this second personality, you're unable to like get yourself out of it either. So it's really confusing. I don't know. I do believe it is a condition affecting the mind. On this other site, they call it kind of like a personality disorder, or in the DSM, which they actually removed it from the DSM book, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So it is no longer in that book, I think, as of 2013. Yeah, I'm just looking here. Yeah, it says narcissism no longer a psychiatric disorder. As Charles Zanner reports in today's Science Times, the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, due out in 2013 and known as DSM-5, has eliminated 5 of the 10 personality disorders that are listed in the current edition. So they took it out of that manual. So I don't know, it's rather confusing. Then it seems to be also some of the decisions that they make seem to be a choice as well. You know what I mean? Like when they're hurting people, that seems to be a choice, but they don't seem to have any control over it. So I feel like it is a mental illness. Like they have no awareness. Like if you hurt someone and they're crying, but then you continue to do it again and again and again and again and again, are you unaware that you hurt the person? Like, it's just very confusing. It's very confusing. So I'm thinking, like, they know the behavior resulted in the person's tears, but it's like the comprehension is not there, because then they then go and hurt another person and another person and another person, and it's like this broken record, or this, music player that's stuck on like a loop or a repeat that just keeps playing the same song over and over and over and over again, and they're unable to fix it. They're unable to fix it, and they're unable to kind of get out of this world, this fictitious, person that they've created, this kind of coping mechanism. They're unable to step outside of that. So it's clear that obviously your mind has a lot to do with it, but it's almost like they're a different species. They are not of human origin. They are a different species altogether. So it's a really confusing topic. I really haven't been able to come to any kind of concrete conclusion to the answer to this question. I'm going to give it a lot more thought and come back and revisit the subject.